Hey there everyone, Dr. Beth Westy here, and I wanted to talk about how stress impacts your weight. This is going to be really specific. I'm going to break this down about cortisol in detail and really tie in these specific things in your body that's going to impact how well your metabolism is working, how well you're able to burn fat, how you're storing fat, all of these different factors, and really what comes into play with your system's metabolism. I am wearing my new sweatshirt right now. This is the Dagny Foundation from my really good friend Elizabeth Benton. She is amazing. This is an amazing story. Her Primal Potential podcast is incredible. If you are not following her, please do so. This is not a plug necessarily for her. I love her so much, and this is such a sweet foundation. So anyway, in case you're wondering, this is my new sweatshirt, and I love it. Okay, but we're going to talk about this. Yes. It's been like all of this year, I feel like I keep seeing memes where people are like, man, what a year this week has been, or like how 2020 is just keeps like coming, and I'm like, yeah, okay, still buckling up, holy cow, alrighty people. Whew. Yep. So this is why I'm focusing on this right now too, because even though I feel like I've been doing a lot of really good stress management techniques, really buckling down on this for myself, I know a lot of my friends, a lot of my followers, a lot of the women that I work with, it's like we're having to up the game right now for managing our stress. All of a sudden I feel like it's my full-time job, managing my stress. Right? So here's how this impacts your weight. If you're like, how is this a thing? Why is this happening? I feel like I've gained 10 pounds and I haven't even been doing anything. I haven't even been eating that much. I'm not even hungry, right? And I'm trying to work out. I'm trying to be healthy. I'm eating as fresh as possible. I'm doing all these things, but I'm so frustrated and struggling so bad, and I'm feeling just exhausted. And why am I putting on weight? What the heck is happening? Here's what it is. So when we talk about stress and weight specifically, one of the things you need to realize is that the stress hormone cortisol, sorry, I'm just choking on my spit. I'm fine. I'm just choking on my spit for a second. I'm human. These things happen. I started getting really worked up. I shouldn't have gotten worked up talking about stress. Maybe I should have picked a different topic. Cortisol is the stress hormone. Now, when we look at cortisol and how it's measured in the body, most people are only familiar with it being measured one way. And typically that's through saliva. Right? Oh, I got a saliva test and it was fine. Okay. What they're measuring there is your free cortisol. Yeah. You can measure your free cortisol through urine too. More than one way to do that. But the most common quick way when it's done through saliva is you're measuring free cortisol. Guess what free cortisol, or guess what this is? This makes up, I'm going to write this down. I'm going to get going. I'm going to get fired up. So hopefully I don't choke on any more of my spit, but we'll see. We'll see how excited I get. I don't know. This makes up 1% to 3% of the total amount of cortisol that your system's doing. It's really far over there. I have a long arm, but I mean, yeah. Of the total of your cortisol numbers. 1 to 3%. Now that's the bioavailable cortisol. That's the cortisol that your system needs, uses, all that stuff. I mean, you need cortisol to wake up in the morning, to get you out of bed, to have you respond, to fight a bear, or all the things, right? But when your cortisols are off and imbalanced, it causes your system to gain weight. It forces your body to store fat, anything and everything and all of it. It fatigues you. It eats away at your muscle tissue. It causes your hair to fall out. It'll cause a lot of other things to happen in your system. And I'm going to talk about these things specifically and how they tie in. But most of us, when we look at cortisol, most people, when they're looking at cortisol and stress, they're only looking at this free cortisol number. They're not looking at the metabolized cortisol. The metabolized cortisol is a total, we'll say, of what your adrenals are doing. So this number here would be more of the total. Total output of the adrenals. Cortisol comes from your adrenals, right? Yes. I'll just write that down. Adrenals produce cortisol, and it's different types of cortisol. If this is the first time you're hearing this, I'm really glad you're here, because this is a really, really big deal. So in the Dutch test, like my favorite, this is my favorite page. I think I tell people this sometimes too, because I'm like, oh, we're going to go over this page, and it's so pretty, and It tells us all the things about cortisol in your adrenals. And it's magnificent. So I'm going to put a link right here in the comments. If you want to take a peek at what the Dutch test could do for you, this is it. This is it. So this is your brain, stress on the brain, right to the adrenals. This is the HPA axis, right? That's your adrenals. And then look at that. I mean, yes, there's DHA, but look at, this is an example, right? This is an example. This is the cortisol, total cortisol, metabolism, that's what they call it, right? This is like the total of what's coming out of the adrenals. This is the circulating free, and it's broken down into two different forms here, which I won't get into right now. But this is the stuff that's free floating, and that's bioavailable for your system to use. This is the 1 to 3%. This is a whole nother thing. Now look at these dials. If they're not matching, oh yeah, Naomi, you told me what's your favorite page. I know, right? I love this page. I love this page for what it shows us. Brain to organs to output. It shows us exactly, and we can see exactly what's happening here with this test, with all of this stuff, versus just a dumb little saliva, a little bit there, and you get one measurement throughout the day. And that's what they're going to tell you, if it's normal or not. Oh, you know what Dutch test does? Guess how many times you take this throughout the day? 4 or 5 times. 4 or 5 measurements throughout the day. And it tells you if it's normal pattern throughout the day too. Oh, is that important? Yes, it's important. It's very important. If you have too high cortisol in the morning and then too low at night, your body is being too active in the middle of the night. Yeah, and you're getting burned out before you even wake up in the morning. Yeah, anybody feel like that? Because the Dutch test will tell us exactly what's happening in your system during the day and at night. It's so cool. It's so cool. Okay, see, I gotta calm down. So that's the free cortisol. Metabolized cortisol, just that total, right? Total piece of it. Now these, ideally, these measurements, these numbers should match. They should match. They should be balanced. What your total cortisol output is from the adrenals, right? That metabolized cortisol here, it should be about the same as what is available for your system to use, that it needs in like normal circumstances. Now, when is it not? When is it not normal? When is it not normal? When is it really imbalanced? Like this metabolized is really high and this free is really low, right? This is a very common thing when people have either thyroid issues, maybe obesity, when this is high and this is low. What about when this is high and this is low? Is that a possibility? Yep, that's a possibility. Oh yeah, poor liver function. Yeah, your liver's really having a hard time filtering through all this stuff. Yeah, Yeah, these numbers being off, not matching. Oh yeah, my favorite thing here, long-term stress. So you're telling me that even if my liver is doing a good job, I'm really trying to support my liver, I'm eating healthy, eating clean, even if my thyroid numbers are okay, even if I've been really trying to stay, keep my weight in check, long-term stress, because I had a stressful job, because I had stress in my family, in my relationship, with my kids, with my neighbor, with whatever, with a pandemic and life. Got crazy fingers for a second. That can cause, you're telling me that can cause these numbers to become imbalanced, and then that will cause me to gain weight. Yes, that is literally exactly how it works. Literally exactly how it works. This long-term stress directly ties to weight gain. That's a big, big arrow. Big, big arrow. Huge arrow right there. That these things cause an imbalance here, and then your system's response to it is to store everything. Oh, good question, Leah. Is serum cortisol accurate? Ooh, very good question. Serum cortisol is accurate. Yeah, for sure is. For sure is. A lot of times they're measuring one thing. Why does Dutch measure this in the urine? Because it's only measured in the urine. So it's a process here. We're looking at a total number and looking at the balance on the match of it. Yes, right? I think you need to win the lotto to get rid of work stress. Danielle, that's hilarious. Yes, hey, right. I'm with you there. That's work stress can really take people down. I can't even tell you, I have gone over, I'm not exaggerating. This was not really recent. I can't remember exactly. And this has happened more than once for me. I remember chatting with a gal, going over her Dutch, and some of her other hormone issues were, I was like, oh, we can tighten up on some of these things. We can help some of these things. But when it got to this adrenal part, I said, listen, these numbers are so off, and they've been off, I would estimate, for a very long time. And I threw out some of my estimations based on what I was seeing here. And I said, it's been for about this time. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's how long I've been at this new job that I thought was really wonderful. I took this new job because it was much more money, like a way better pay, and all these perks and all these things. And my life has just been, I've been like dying. Like my soul has been sucked out. I am exhausted. I hate it, but I feel like it's such good money, and that I moved for this job, et cetera, et cetera. And it was about 3 years that she was in this new job, and was really excited and all this stuff, and then realized, like, right after she got this, she was like, this is awful, this is awful, this is awful, but I'm here, I gotta stick it out, right? Like, guilt and shame and all the things to keep her stuck. And then the pay was really good, and she's like, at this point, I'm spending so much money trying to get my body under control because her system was completely freaking out because of the stress from her job. And she's like, she's like, at this point financially, it's not even worth it for me to be here, because even though I'm making way more money than my other job, I'd rather have my old job and my less stress and be healthier and feel better life. So she quit her job, which was not what we went into, right? I'm gonna disclaimer, that was not what we talked about. I said, listen, here's where you're at. And I was like, this has been going on for this amount of time. Here's what I see. If this doesn't get corrected, and you need to dedicate this, and this to your body to help it turn around, it's not going to happen overnight. And she was like, oh my God, oh my God. And I followed up with her a couple weeks later, and she was like, she sounded totally different. It was a completely different conversation. She's like, I quit my job. Here I go. Woo! I was like, all right. Doing it then. You're doing it then. Okay. I'm on board with it then. Let's just help your system out. She had a different job line. She had found a different job. Was actually going to stay in the city that she had moved to. She loved that. She just never got to see the city because she worked like 80 hours a week. So she was, taking a pay cut, but she's like, I feel so much better already. And she goes, I've been doing some of these things. I've been doing what we talked about. And just this short amount of time, I'm feeling better, and I can tell that I'm on the right path now. That she's not just lost in the woods. She's not just, out there, right? It's literally that impactful. When you can see exactly what's happening in your system, and knowing, oh my gosh, these numbers, they correlate to this or to this, that says, okay, now that I have the right information, I'm going to be able to make the right decisions for me, for my life, for my health, to move forward. And right now, more than ever, that is so important for us, to really get the information on our systems, to be able to make the right decisions, to take us from where we are to where we want to be. This gives us the map. Yeah, it's such a game changer. It's such a game changer. Yes, right? Oh, this test was so informative. Yep. It saved my sanity knowing what was going on. Oh, that's such a good way. That's such a good way to say it. Danielle, my job is killing me. Funny, not funny. Right? I'm always trying to find ways to de-stress. Can't quit anytime soon, but trying to incorporate more time away from work for family and me time. Yes. Yes. Oh, thank you, Danielle. Yes. I'm glad you love the info, and I'm glad it's helpful. Yes. I mean, these are the things, right? Because these are the things that, like, so just for example, Danielle, if you're under a lot of stress at work and you were to say, gosh, there's so much stress, I'm really having a hard time, what can I do? Maybe I need to go get a cortisol test, and you pop in and you get a quick saliva cortisol, and you're like, well, that said it's normal. Okay, you can have this be in normal range, and this be way out of normal range. Yeah, that imbalance then leads to other issues, which leads to that weight gain, leads to other inflammation. Oh my gosh, I don't even want to start on the inflammation train right now. But that inflammation, you can feel puffy, you can feel bloated, it disrupts your digestive system, right? Your joints get achy, you have a hard time working out, you have a hard time recovering from working out. Yeah, there's so much that goes into it. That list is like, that's like an hour long that I could keep going, just listing off things that inflammation does to the body and the system. But I digress. Stress and weight. It really is important that you know exactly what's happening in your system. If you by chance realize, oh my gosh, I'm more stressed, I'm going to take care of myself more, I'm going to take more baths, I'm going to read more, I'm going to de-stress, and those things work for you, awesome. If you take some more herbs and you're like, oh, I'm doing these things. Awesome. That's awesome, right? But if you're sitting there thinking, okay, I've been doing these stress reduction techniques, I've been trying to meditate, I've been taking more herbs, I've been doing more me time, and I feel like it's a start, but there's a big piece I'm missing. This is the piece. So again, go in the comments, click on the link, get a Dutch test, and send it right to you. You do have to take it correctly, but there's really detailed instructions, and I'm always here to help you if you have questions on it. But this is such a help, such a great map that gives you all the puzzle pieces. Yeah. Okay, I got off on a little bit of a rant there. A couple times, I think. I choked on my spit. What a day. So good. All right, so see, I'm just a real person. Just a real person. All right. Other resources I have for you, of course, because I always want to give you other resources, other things to look at. I have a book, The Female Fat Solution. This is on Amazon. More about nutrition that matches your hormones and your cycle. My podcast is The Female Health Solution. It's on all places podcast. And then my YouTube channel is Dr. Beth Westy. Archived all my videos there, so you can always search for something if you're looking for something specific. Yes. Okay. So that's what I got for you guys today. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if I can be of any more assistance. And if I mentioned something in this video that you're like, oh my gosh, wait, I want to know more about liver function, or I want to know more about the long-term stress versus short-term, or something, let me know and I can do a video on it. Because again, I want to make sure you guys have enough resources to take action on some of these things, to start making changes for yourself, to really get and keep better results. So have a great rest of your night. Thank you for tuning in. Share this with anybody who you think could use this message, and I will see you guys later.